Okay. What's going on, team? How's it going? This is Eddie Gray, and man, so excited to be here. Brand new week. We're gonna be talking about live loops. Just making sure everything's working. Yeah. Everything's working on all cylinders. I hope you guys are well. I actually have 2 more weeks in this studio. I've been here for over a year, and it's been such a wonderful experience. And now it's time to move on to the next chapter. And I'm building a music studio now at the pad, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to new times. So I want to get into live loops. I want to talk to you about how to construct live loops. The last time we were together, we were working on like a boom bap hip hop track. You can check out the last videos. And this time around, what we're going to cover is some rock music. But before we do, I want to talk to you about a new technique, something I'm thinking about music in a different way, in a new way. And it's called Strategies for Music Production. So if you're new or experienced, this is kind of a new way to look at music. It's almost like a formula. Of course, it's not always going to work because, as we know, music is not dentistry, and it's not cooking. There's no formula to it. But it is good to sometimes think about it in terms of probabilities. For example, most of the time it might be a good idea to sidechain your kick to your bass, or most of the time, if we're going to play with complex pieces of music, we want to do it on the high end, etc., etc. So yeah, let's look at this concept really quick. All right, here we go. All right, guys, and I'm your host, Mr. Eddie Gray. And if you guys have some questions, go ahead and shoot them on the comments for me. And if you want to go ahead and talk to anybody else, you have any questions about what we're doing here, about the operation, go ahead and email support@hfmusicacademy.com. All right, so real quick, I have this layout. It's pretty basic, and then I'll show you kind of why I formulated it this way. Number one, I have this kind of low-end drone pad. So check this out. All right, and that repeats over and over again, okay? And then when it comes to the low mids, I am performing just real basic rhythm, kind of like quarter notes, real simple. Check it out. Let me do this. All right, cool. And so then now we're listening to these two together. So we got the low end, we got the low mids, goes like this. All right, so the philosophy goes something like this. If you're going to use low end, subs, 808, things like that, you want to make sure that, particularly for this style of music, you have a drone or a pad, something that is kind of elongated, sustained out, and it just plays. Now, if you're going to have a low mid section, you want to make sure it's rhythmic in nature so it doesn't get caught up. Listen to this sound without the tremolo. Listen to the way that these two will play against each other. It's not the same, right? Check this out. All right, so I'd venture to say that it's these small things in music that make the biggest difference. You may not notice it at first, and you can probably stomach something like this, for like 30 seconds, a minute, but after a while, the human ear will just tend to want to, leave it behind. So now, if I add a little bit of movement by way of adding a tremolo, check it out. So here's before and after. Okay, let's move on to the high mids. If the low mids require a basic rhythm, then the high mids require something a little bit more intricate in nature. All right, let's check this out. Now it's funny because track one is strictly mono, down the center, left and right. Second track is a little bit wider than that. Then the third track is particularly wide. I'm using Infected Mushroom, or Polyverse is the name of their company. I'm using this phenomenal plugin. Can go all the way up to like 200, but I think I'm good right here, right around 105, 100, 110. And so then now you're literally creating a dimension of sound. You're creating depth, front to back, kind of, side to side. And this fits really well without the wider plugin. And I also have some reverb on here and distortion plugin, or a little bit of overdrive. Think of that like tube saturation, making it really harmonic and rich. And then I've got a compressor just to even it out, get everything flat line, and just sound steady, or as steady as it can. And so then now we have this. Cool. Cool. What's going on with you? Hello. Nice to see you guys here. Appreciate it. All right. So then we got this basic idea. And we're going to talk about live loops right now in a second. We're going to go into all the ins and outs. I just want to introduce you to this concept that music can be easy. Music can be formulaic, at least to start with, and then you can just have a bunch of fun after that. And then the last concept being that if you're going to do anything in the high end, it can be rhythmically complex. It can be really wide. It can, have delays and effects. And this is kind of the way you want to build it. And if you do this, I believe you have a better chance of constructing something that fits and also that just sounds powerful. Here, check this out. All right, cool. We're just gonna add a beat on top of that. Here we go. 1. So again, it's not going to work every time, but it's a really good way to think about music. Check it out. All right, cool. So I think you guys get my point. So let me just show you the strategy behind it, okay? Let's get kind of back from the music. So this is something that I've been playing with, been kind of digging up some research. So again, in the low end, we've got frequency. And here, let me bring you guys in a little tighter. All right, cool. And the low end is going to have the drone and pads kind of working for you, right? And the timbre or the texture of it should be dark, the energy laid back, the width of it mono, and then the volume quiet. And so this is the formula that I'm suggesting that could be interesting. I'm gonna do my best to create a couple of these as the weeks go by, and just a really interesting way to think about music, to have some kind of template beforehand, and then when you get into it, you can go ahead and execute. Now, there are, things that don't necessarily work, like when I try to include the high mids with the high end, it just didn't fit and sit as well. Let me show you what I mean. So for me, it just got way too busy at that point, right? And so this is why I separated these two. But again, on another song, it could have been a different story. So strategies for music production. Start thinking about your music in terms of strategies. I'll be releasing this and many more strategies on hfmusicacademy.com. All right, guys, we're going to get into the weekly reading. If you've been following the channel, you guys know that I like to get some information in my head before I get the party started, mostly just to remind people that this doesn't have to be as hard as you make it. This can be fun. This can be, kid-like, could be childlike. It doesn't have to be as serious as we make it. And I believe that when you do get to that place, that when you actually do free up and loosen up and just kind of, stay in your lane, kind of be yourself, what ends up happening is that you write the best music that you can possibly write. And isn't that exactly what we're all chasing, is that momentum, that magic, right? Being able to capture it in a bottle, because it makes us feel good. That's why we keep doing what we're doing. That's why we put in the time, 8 hours, 12 hours. I'm amazed at my circle, my community, all the people that I work with. They're relentless. They want it so bad, and they're willing to put anything at stake and work as hard as they can to get their music careers to the next level. So kudos. All right, so here we go. Start copying. Start copying what you love. Copy, 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 copy. At the end of the copy, you will find yourself, Mr. Yamamoto, Yoji Yamamoto. Nobody is born with a style or voice. We don't come out of the womb knowing who we are. In the beginning, we learn by pretending to be our heroes. We learn by copying. We're talking about practice here, not plagiarism. Plagiarism is trying to pass someone else's work off as your own. I got a story about that for you guys in a little bit. Copying is about reverse engineering. It's like a mechanic taking apart a car to see how it works. So when we copy someone's work, you want to take apart what they're doing, understand it, analyze the music. If you guys have been following the channel, you guys know we're analyzing a bunch of songs. Now we've decided to kind of change directions simply because YouTube has so many different restrictions when it comes to analyzing music, and various publishers then it gets a little hairy. So we're kind of moving in a new direction now. But all of that content will be available on hfmusicacademy.com. We're going to analyze lots of new music. If you really want to understand how to write music like the Foo Fighters, or modern songs on Top 40, whatever it is, we're going to be doing that at hfmusicacademy.com. All right, it's like a mechanic taking apart a car to see how it works. So here on the right-hand side, the human hand is incapable of making a perfect copy. We learn how to write by copying down the alphabet. Musicians learn how to play by practicing scales. Painters learn to paint by reproducing masterpieces. Remember, even the Beatles started out as a cover band. Paul McCartney has said, "I emulated Buddy Holly, Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis." We all did. McCartney and his partner John Lennon became one of the greatest songwriting teams in history. But as McCartney recalls, they only started writing their own songs as a way to avoid each other's bands being able to play our set. Check that out. One of my favorite artists, Salvador Dali. Check this out. As Salvador Dali said, "Those who do not want to imitate anything produce nothing." Check that out. That's pretty cool. Live loops, coming. It's coming. It's coming. First, you have to figure out who to copy. Second, you have to figure out what to copy. Who to copy is easy. You copy your heroes, the people you love, the people you're inspired by, the people you want to be. Songwriter Nick Lowe says you start out by rewriting your heroes' catalog. That's funny. And you don't just steal from one of your heroes, you steal from all of them. The writer Wilson Mitzner said if you copy from one author, it's plagiarism, but if you copy from many, it's research. I once heard the cartoonist Gary Panter say, if you have one person you're influenced by, everyone will say you're the next whoever. But if you rip off 100 people, everyone will say you're so original. What to copy is a little bit trickier. Don't just steal the style. Steal the thinking behind the style. You don't want to look like your heroes. You want to see like your heroes. That's an interesting way to look at it, isn't it? The reason to copy your heroes and their style is so that you might somehow get a glimpse into their minds. That's what you really want, to internalize their way of looking at the world. So what kind of zone, what kind of state are they in? What do they have to access in order to write that kind of music? If you just mimic the surface of somebody's work without understanding where they are coming from, your work will never be anything more than a knockoff. All right, cool. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. I always thought that book was pretty fascinating. And so, it's good. It's good to kind of get yourself warmed up. You can play guitar, you can play a piano, you can warm up your voice. Everybody's got a different bag. And so here, let me check if we've got any questions. All right, cool. Yeah, we're going to get into live loops. Thank you. Thank you. And we will go from there. One sec. All right, cool. All right, so let's get into live loops, shall we? Today, Graphy is allowing viewers to see my live loops course for free. So if you want to check out the first chapter, it's on us. Go to Graphy. It's an iOS app, Android, and the Apple platform. And you can go ahead and check out Learning Live Loops with Eddie Gray. All right, so let me show you a workflow. Let's kind of get into, this is a 2-day series. So today, the idea is just to generate a bunch of ideas. And then the next time I see you guys Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Central Time, we'll go ahead and start putting those ideas into practice. We'll start making sure that they all fit. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Logic. Let's open up a new sesh. Here, I'll bring you in here. All right. And we're going to open up new from template, key command, Command N. So we're going to go here, live loops. And a couple weeks ago, I started playing with a song that I was just demoing. I've got my guitars back here, so we're going to do something kind of more in the alternative rock. Some of you guys may know I'm currently writing for a couple of different shows. And right now we're rocking with American Pickers, and so I want to go ahead and kind of write some material for that. But I don't want to do it in the traditional sense. Whether I'm doing boom bap like I did in my last series of videos, which already pitched that song, it's already on its way to the marketplace, or we're doing something like rock, organic. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's all just how you think about it. You can write as many genres as you want as long as you understand the principles of music. So here with the tap tempo, um, the idea of it's going to be something like da na 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 na. So I'm just going to tap that tempo. Da na na na. All right, so we're probably in like the 180. We'll see how that goes. I know I'm going to be in the key of A, so I'm just going to set that from the get-go. It's going to be minor. We're in 4/4. This is the interface I'm using. And yeah, everything is good. Let's go ahead and turn on and create a new session. So we're going to record guitar. Let's grab this. All right, cool. So let's see here. Track number 1. All right. All right. There's some latency. Let's see if we can get this together. Ooh, that's going to be tough. I'm playing, and then like 1 second later, this thing is going. Let me see if I could play with that. Hold on. Ooh, that's going to be complicated. Let me see. Let me just make one adjustment really quick. 1 sec. Cool. If you guys have any questions for me, hit me up. Eddie Gray. Let's see if this works out. Hold on. Check 1 2. Let me just make sure you guys can hear me because something has. All right, cool. I think that's gonna work out for me. I'm playing with the monitoring. Am I gonna monitor through my DAW? Am I gonna monitor through the console? There's a couple things going on here. So let me go ahead. Let's see. Press play here. All right, and let's see what this tempo sounds like. No, that's definitely not it. All right, let's bring it down a little bit. Let's go somewhere around here. Yeah, okay, cool. So let's run with that a little bit. So a big thing with live loops, guys, is you want to make sure that you have the cycle region so that as the playhead is moving, it's just cycling back and forth, because the live loops doesn't reference a timeline. And so if you do not set a cycle region, what's going to happen, it's going to play all the way to the end of bar 128, and then all of a sudden it's just going to have a dead stop. So you want to kind of prevent that from happening by creating this here. All right, so option L, we're back in live loops, and I'm just going to track and just keep recording over and over again. We'll talk about some of the other details. I just kind of want to get into it and start putting some ideas on paper here. Let's remove this. I'm not going to need this right now. All right, cool. So here we go. All right, hold on. Let me reduce the gain there. It's a little loud. All right, I'll take that. All right, it's kind of hard to hear the click. So then here when we get to the Alt tab, I'm going to hit Shift X. Here's the metronome. Rather than increasing the volume, I'm going to increase the tonality. So volume stays the same, all right? But I'm just hearing the click a little bit better as it's cutting through the mix. Let's check it out. Okay, cool. That works for me. Maybe I'm going to go down a little bit more. To change the numerical value here, you can double click inside of the LCD screen, or you can click and drag up or down. All right, so metronome is set, the settings are set. Sometimes there is prep time, and that's something that you just have to consider. That's just the music game. But if you know the DAW, if you know mixing and mastering, And if you trust yourself and you've been getting your reps in and you know it like you know the back of your hand, like you know yourself, right? What's going to happen is that you'll be able to meet the challenge. You'll be able to meet anything that comes up, and then you'll be able to work through it. It doesn't matter exactly how it happens, but you will get to that finish line. Again, this person may do it this way, that person may do it that way, but it's really a matter of you getting yourself across in your fashion. All right, so here we go. All right, cool. So from that, we're gonna try and find the perfect edit. Um, you can just start recording a bunch of ideas as well, and that's also encouraged. But I'm gonna go ahead and kind of just show you different methodologies. So one methodology is recording and then editing the idea so it sounds just the way you want it to. So I'm gonna double click on the cell. All right. Cool, cool. All right. And then now I'm looking at the audio cell editor. And we're trying to see, how is this fitting in the context of our song? Is it in time? All that stuff. So let's go ahead and play back, leave the metronome on as I don't have a tempo reference right now. Here we go. All right. So you can see that it's off time. A lot of it has to do with the latency, but we can go ahead and line this up. How do we do that? All right, we can go ahead and start playing with the start. So that would be here where it says start. And so then now, rather than it beginning right at bar 1, I can tell the marker, hey, can you play starting here, right? So then now I've got some flexibility. I don't have to play everything perfectly on time, but let's see how it sounds. Okay, so as when I first developed this idea, part of the problem is that it starts on an upbeat, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, na na na. It doesn't start on the 1. It's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, na na na. So because it starts on the upbeat, we're gonna have to figure out how to record this in the context of basically a bar, right? Something that's a perfect, mathematical equation. So in order to do that, there's different ways to try and trigger it. Sometimes I'll just yeah. Sometimes you got to just eyeball it, like keep moving the playhead around till you get to the right spot. Maybe we'll do something like this. All right, maybe let's start here. Let's see what that sounds like. All right, good. So still kind of working out how we're gonna do this. If this platform becomes too confining, probably the best thing to do is to now then use the audio, the alternate workspace, which is the tracks area. It's not a bad practice simply because you can now kind of reference the timeline of music, right? It's really hard to make these kinds of edits, especially when you're on an upbeat. So I'm going to drag this over. All right, you'll notice that I'm dragging it over, and then now it exists inside of the live loops grid, but it also exists inside of the tracks area. And so this is an interesting distinction that we can actually work in both spaces. Believe it or not, you can have sound coming from the live loops grid, and you can have sound coming from the tracks area simultaneously. This is how this program differs from, let's say, Ableton. In Ableton, all we do is play from the clips view, and then you have the arrangement area, or what we call the tracks area. And so it gives you more functionality, more playability. And so let's see if we can find a way to edit this where it works. So I'm going to close the live loops grid, Option N to access just the tracks area. So this is looking good, but we need to get it to fit. We need to get it to work. So again, some of it is just to get a play on words, just trying to figure out exactly how to nail it down. So let's see how this works. Well, that worked out quite nicely. That was a complete guess. Now, bear in mind, all of my editing I do inside of Snap to Grid. Bar, beat, divisions, and then sometimes when I want to get off of the grid, I'll get on tick. I'm never on smart, just simply because it's making decisions for you, whether you're moving regions or MIDI events or what have you. And so I like the power to be in your hands. And so if you want that kind of authority, if you want that kind of power and say, then you really need to dictate and make those decisions inside of Logic Pro. All right, so this is sounding pretty good. I've got one idea down. So why don't I go ahead and now take this and move it over into the live loops grid. Now, something that you should pay attention to. Remember that I said that this starts on an upbeat. Well, that upbeat is right here. This is kind of where the problem was. Here, listen to this. So if I move just this section over to the very end of the progression, then now I get the best of both worlds. Okay, I can play from here, and then I can access this upbeat. Let's see how it sounds, right? It's one thing to execute, it's quite another to get it right. So let's see. That sounded seamless. So again, to my point, if you have the experience necessary and you have the knowledge, you can pretty much get over any single obstacle or hindrance that comes in your workflow. That's like my specialty. I specialize in helping people become better at the workflow. When the challenge comes, you will have the skill set necessary in order to encounter it, in order to research, troubleshoot, and then ultimately dominate and beat it. So let's listen to this again. Okay, so you can see it all works perfectly well. Again, this was only possible because we were able to hack the system a bit. So then now I'm using my secondary tool, the marquee tool. I'm holding command and I'm creating a selection, and I'm going to join this as one contiguous region, meaning just one region, so they're not separate. I'm going to hit J. Again, this creates one region. And then now option B brings me back to the hybrid workflow. When I go back to the hybrid workflow, guess what, guys? I'm going to drag this in, and then now we have exactly what we want. In fact, you know what? Let me keep this here just as a reminder that this was kind of like the first riff. And so here I'll hit T and maybe just, type in OG. All right, let's hear this. All right, here we go. All right, works quite well. You can go ahead and you can edit it. You can quantize it if you want it to be really, really tight. But in the case of this kind of rock and roll stuff, I'm going to keep it nice and loose. Let's go ahead and let's do a drummer just to kind of have something to play with here. So drummer, let's go something, in the style of rock. And all right. So then now all I have to do to allow drummer to generate an idea is just go ahead and hit that plus symbol. All right, let's see what it came up with. All right, and now to customize the kind of generic AI pattern that Logic has generated, let me go ahead and tell Logic, hey, here inside of the drummer editor, can you go ahead and follow oh, it's not reading it. All right, let me see. Can I do it this way? Okay, yeah, I'll do it this way. Let me drag this guy over here. Cool. All right, let me see. Can I convert back to drummer? Yes. Okay. So I believe I can get this, yeah, to follow the Telecaster guitar. So this is interesting because it's not something you can do inside of here, inside of the live loops, but it's something you can do inside of the tracks area. So that's kind of a interesting distinction there. But what will happen is that basically this drummer region will start to look at the transients of this guitar and it'll sound different. So for example, when it doesn't follow it, it's going to sound like this. Oh, hold on. Let me get just the right side of the screen to play. Right? I'm stopping the cells. They're not playing anymore. We're on the right-hand side. Here we go. All right, again, if I get it to follow, we're going teleguitar. Let's see what that sounds like. So you can see that it changes its kick pattern in order to kind of facilitate the part a little bit more. So here, if you want to look at these, if you want to call them transients, but these shapes here, when I hit follow, you can see that the pattern changes a little bit because this self-generated MIDI pattern is a standalone. It's not considering another part. It's not considering the timing of something else in the tracks area or in the playhead. But when I click the drummer editor and then I have it follow the Telecaster guitar, which is track number 1, you can see that now it's playing together and with it. All right, so this is a great way to just draft and start an idea. I'm not looking to actually play the drums like this or anything like that, but just to kind of get something going, I think it's great. So let me go ahead and hit Option L again. We're back in the live loops grid. The whole point of today, guys, is just really to generate a bunch of ideas. I'm not trying to write the song or anything like that. I just want to get a lot of ideas on paper. All right, super important to workflow is, good housekeeping. So hit Command S and start saving the session. What if it, I don't know, the power goes out or something? I mean, things happen, right? So I'm going to go ahead and save this and we'll just call this, I'll just call it that for now. All right, I'm going to save this in the desktop, Command D. Save it as a folder. The reason you don't want a package file is simply because then all of the files are hidden or nested inside of a package, whereas in a folder, all of the files are accessible. They're right in front of you. It's just better practice overall. So we'll go ahead and hit that. All right, so we got this first idea. So let me go ahead and duplicate this entire scene. So you can see that I just controlled click, and then now I'm duplicating this specific idea. Now for this one, I'm going to change up the sound, okay? Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to bounce this cell to audio, this one right here, all right? And in order to do that, I'm going to Control B. And I'm going to call this filter Tele or Telecaster. All right, I'm going to mute the original source, and you can see that Logic has now created a loop here. All right, I'm going to filter this one out so it just sounds a little bit more megaphony, if I can use that. Yeah, it sounds a little bit more filtered. Here, check it out. All right, hold on. I think what's going on is I'm getting some playback from the other side, but here, let's listen to this. All right, good. So the first time I play, it sounds a little bit filtered. This is, a progression. I'm not writing the song. I'm just thinking, okay, what else? What else can I do? So maybe this Telecaster plays on the left side, right? And so I'll leave this one here to play in the middle, and then we've got this one here to play on the left. Check it out. All right, so let me now create another track, but this one will be another guitar. And the reason we'll do it this way is all right, cool, is to just to create depth. You could use the same guitar and filter it differently, but this is really the way to do it, so you can create texture and just that overall thickness. that. All right, cool. And we'll use this guitar here. And then on top of just changing the guitar, we're going to change the sound, the preset. And so then if this one is on the left-hand side, this one will be on the right-hand side. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and change that sound. All right, super loud. Let's bring that down. All right, cool. Just playing with the Kemper here. Planning on doing a video on this soon enough. Absolutely incredible piece of gear. Absolutely loving it. It just sounds incredible. All right, so then the whole idea now is to basically track in the same way that we did before. Now, bear in mind, I might have to go through that whole process of recording it, bringing it over into the tracks area in order to edit it. But for now, let's just track and kind of see how it goes. All right. So notice that. Hold on. Notice that this cell. Let's turn that off. Okay, that this cell right here and this one are currently stopped. So I'm going to go ahead and trigger them. Why am I going to do this? Because when I record, I'd like to record and play back with everybody. I don't want it to just be where I'm just playing it alone. So rather than triggering it and playing it, I'm going to queue it up. So check this out. We're going to go into the queue cell playback. So this one and this one are now queued. How do you know they're queued? Well, number one, they're pulsating. They're kind of like highlighting back and forth. And then on top of that, if I hover my mouse right over the cell itself, I can clearly see that there's this kind of like, continue playing symbol. Whereas here is just play. So here we would be triggering, whereas here we will be continuing playback. And so these two are ready to go. I'm going to click on this empty cell, and you can click and create the cell just to notify Logic, hey, I'm ready to record audio or MIDI. And then after that, again, control click it. And we're going to record enable it. So that will allow us to record into the cell. Here, let me hit Control R, and that should do it. Hold on. It's like the focus is up here for some reason. Hold on. All right, that should do it. Hold on. Yeah, it's not doing it for some reason. I guess I could use this one too. No, I don't want to record into this cell. Maybe if I hit delete. Okay, maybe that's it. Okay. Nope, that's not working either. Control R. All right, let me. That's not happening. I guess I'll record up here then. See what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to take away the record function up here. It's not doing it though. Here, maybe I'll do that. See, no, it's still there. Control R, not happening. Let me see what else. Maybe if I create another track. No. It's so weird. It's like locked in. It's locked in there. All right, let me just track it here, and then we will go from there. I'll just move it on down. All right, so here we are. Again, I am queuing this one. I am queuing that one. And this is the cell I'm going to record into right now, okay? Here we go. All right. So something to think about is when you're recording guitars is like do I want them to be the same like texture per se, right? And so when I think about this guy, like if we had to describe it, right, that was the Telecaster. It sounds brighter, sounds like, you know, sharp. So now let's just listen just to this cell right here. This is the one I just recorded. All right, so then like maybe we might want to change the tone on that just so it sounds a little bit different. So I'm going to change the position of the pickup. So then rather than it sounding like this, hey, what's going on? Good. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the comments. So then rather than being on treble, let's make it a little bit darker. So it'll be something like this. See how it sounds a little warmer? Right, it has a different kind of texture to it. So let's go ahead and play with that. Let's see if this works. The concept of changing the texture. So we've got something different on the left, and then presumably as soon as I move this over on the right-hand side. So again, let's cue the scene rather than the individual cells. And then when I go up here, I'm going to record into this. Here, let me just see if I could change. All right, there we go. That did it. So let's bring it back here. Cool. All right, let's try this. As soon as I hit record, they're all going to play back, and I'm going to record on this one cell at the same time. So let's try and get this to all fit and all work together. Again, this may be something that we'll do inside of the tracks area, but it sounded pretty tight. Maybe at the end I could fix it a little bit, but here, let's try this. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why? Let's see. All right. So the playability was different. So let's again, edit this and move it over to the tracks area. This is kind of one of the advantages is that you get to work in this way. So right now, here, let me put this down. You can see clearly that in the tracks area, everything is dimmed out or grayed out. Why do you think that is? All right. Well, the reason that is simply because everything right now is currently highlighted or focused on the live loops grid. And so if I press play, we're going to listen to the information in the live loops grid. Right. We know this one needs some help, but these two are gelling. Check it out. All right, cool. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so this is working, and now we just got to edit this so it just fits a little bit better. In order to get the attention kind of away from the live loops grid and get it inside of the tracks area, we're gonna hit this button right here. It's called the track activation button or track activator button. So once I click that, you'll notice that all the attention goes to the tracks area. And so then now we can take our attention into working in the main workspace. So we know something's going on. I'm going to apply the same technique I did last time. It may work, it may not. But I think I selected beat and then I moved it over. And so this actually just may be what we need. I don't know. We're going to listen. Actually, maybe that. Maybe back. All right, cool. So you can see that now, again, because I've got the principles intact, You know, I've been teaching my workflow for years now. I have thousands of students. I've certified a bunch of people in Logic, um, and this system that I've been able to create, uh, you know, is rock solid. I don't care who you are, where you come from. If you learn the system and you learn the workflow, there's nothing that you can encounter during a session, even with a client, whatever the case may be, because your fundamentals will be, you know, there. And once you have a strong understanding of something, you'll be able to break it down to its least common denominator. What am I doing? What am I working on? How can I get back to a place of productivity? Can't tell you guys, when I first started this game almost 7 years ago, uh, so much work. Everything was just agony, but you get stronger. Your ability to concentrate improves. Your overall skill set just sharpens over time. I'm so excited about building my new studio, mostly because I'm gonna be able to get more hours in. You guys, I'm obsessed with this. I need it. I think about it every day. How can I refine a little bit more? Right? And so when I created the curriculum for LearnQuest, I thought about how can I serve the world? How can I give these Logic users, these music production, these modern creatives, how can I give them a system that will help them so that they don't have to waste 6 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, right? I hear so many people go through regrets, like they wish they had learned this earlier. They wish they had focused on music production earlier. I hear it all the time. I have people that come in here, and it's never too late. I agree, it's never too late, but certainly the time is now to get started, right? Don't wait another 2 years, because then at some point it can be too late. Like, it will actually be too late. So make sure you guys are getting your reps in. Make sure you're following the right people, watching reputable videos by people that know what they're talking about, and yeah, just stay up. Make music that you love. If you guys have any questions for me, hit me up. Name's Eddie Gray, composer producer in the LA area. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I building a new studio. I've been here for a year. It's just been such a successful year. Been able to work with a lot of big publishers, a lot of clients, produced a lot of songs here. Just feeling great. I'm feeling really great. Yeah, good stuff. All right, let's listen to these guitars, and then I got a little trick for you. Here we go. All right, so how can we get these to play a little bit nicer together so that it's a little bit tighter? Well, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and check on the ending. I just want to make sure this gels. Here we go. Gold. All right, so how can we get this to fit a little bit better? Well, there's this amazing trick. Let me go ahead and join this together first before I show you. It's similar to the follow feature inside of Drummer. You guys remember how we had Drummer follow the transients? Well, it's very similar to that, except it's called a groove track. And a groove track allows one parent file to be followed by the child, if you will. And so right up here, I'm going to go ahead and Option T, configure the track header, and I'm going to tell Logic, hey, can I enable groove track? So it's now enabled. I'm going to hover over the track header and select this as the master file. And then down here, I'm going to have this one follow here. And so what that will do is it will allow it to match up the transients a little bit better. Here, check it out. All right, cool. So without having to necessarily do a bunch of work, that worked out in my favor. So I'm going to go ahead and take this file and then bounce it to audio. Why am I doing that? Because this processing takes power. And so I don't want to waste CPU on this processing. So I'm going to hit Control B. I know I like it. It sounds good. So let's rock and roll. We bounce it to audio. All right. So then now, just like before, I'm going to move this back into the live loop screen. Now, hey, bear in mind, this is very unique with, uh, rock music, because with hip hop and stuff, you wouldn't have to do all this. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and check out the last two videos I made. Um, Writing a boom bap track came out solid. It's amazing that what can happen when you have a couple of sources that sound really good together and it just works. In fact, let me play you guys this song real quick. Now that we're on it. Let me see. How can I let me bring us there real quick. Where do I have this track? Hold on. Let me go to my backups. Here, let me all right. I'm gonna find the song and play for you guys real quick. Hope you guys are doing well on this Monday. Happy to be here. Happy to be sharing this information. Man, I always wanted to, be a contribution to creative people. I was always on the grind. I was always looking for the next opportunity, and I would have slayed for opportunities like this. I would have done so much, like, to find insider information that really made a difference in my life. And so here I am, and hopefully you guys are feeling the information. If you like what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, go ahead and like, subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the love and respect. All right, here's that track. I'm not sure if you guys are going to hear this because I'm playing it outside, but outside of Logic. But here, check it out. No, I don't think you can hear it, actually. Actually, let me just bring it into the session. So right now we're going to listen to this song that I did. Different style, but you guys will get the point here. Check it out. All right, team. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. So yeah, you can write whatever music you want. When I first started and I was, reaching out to a bunch of publishers and contacts and agents, everybody kept, saying, you're doing too many styles and you got to pick one thing. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. You got to be yourself. You got to find like what makes you get into it. And for me, I was always into music. No joke, top to bottom. When I was a kid, I was that kid in back of the classroom. The one that was like drawing all the time, had his headphones on, the buds on, and I just wanted to do music. I didn't care about, the next math problem, and I just wanted to hear sounds. I wanted to hear progressions and melodies. And if you're like that, and I know that there's a lot of you out there, let me tell you, we have a bunch of members at hfmusicacademy.com, and man, I've consulted and hung out with so many different people from different parts of the world, and it's always the same. It's just people who are obsessed with music and waves and synthesizers and samplers and step sequencers, and we're covering the step sequencer right now at hfmusicacademy.com, and it's phenomenal, making a difference with so many people. So if this is you, stay on the path. Keep learning, keep growing, keep evolving. Just stay committed, and the path will open up for you. Even if it's dark, even if it's quiet, even if there's nobody there, sooner or later, it's just a matter of when. I'm sure you've had triumphant moments in the past. I'm sure you've had times that you've been able to surprise yourself or surprise others, with courage or acts of kindness, courtesy, what have you. And so that's you got to dig. You got to look for that again in yourself. But yeah. All right. So here, let's crank. Let's get into it here. And I'm gonna now create some more information. So again, we're not writing the song per se, right? That's not the objective of today. We're just trying to have some fun. We're just trying to relax and just play some music. So let me get this back up and running. All right. So I thought it'd be interesting if we just created a bunch of sounds. Forget about just like the music part. I'm gonna go ahead and mute these actually. Create the cycle region. Why are we creating the cycle region? As we covered, you don't want any hiccups in your plan. Option L to get inside of live loops. All right. So theoretically now we have this intro, and then we have this left and right guitar, right? In fact, I should probably delete some of this information so it looks a little bit easier to grasp. I'm going to turn off the groove track because I don't need it anymore. So here's the intro. All right, so everything's sounding good. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of parallel compression on the drums. This is just to get it to sound better. I'm actually going to program some drums, or at least I may. I mean, that was my thought going into it. But let's just add some parallel compression. Let's see. Yeah, SSL compression or maybe, no, let's do this one. This thing will be super aggressive. All right, here we go. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Geez, just right out of the gates. All right, so I was thinking that it would be like a good idea to have just scratching, just this kind of. So we're just gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and track. Let's do here. So focus is now on track number 3. I'm going to hit Control R. It's now record enabled, and then I'm going to hit input monitoring. Let me see, Control I, just so I can hear myself. Again, these 3 cells are currently in queue, and so I'm going to stop that by hitting this button in the bottom right. Stop all cells. Everything has been neutralized, and now we are ready to write. So I'm going to go ahead and cue this cell, and we're just going to record this guitar scratching stuff. Here we go. All right, let's hear that back. Oh, sorry about that. I just realized that my inputs are not set. So that's common. You got to kind of check all the little details. So right here in the input, I have to input to whatever it is that, where I'm getting my information from. In this case, I'm getting it from the Kemper. Now we can see that we have the input monitoring. We can see the volume that's coming into Logic. And so then now this one, again, is still queued. How do I know it's pulsating? Here is the record feature. I'm going to control click, and I'm going to record into cell. Key command Option R. All right, so You see how I have like dead space? Let's talk about this. Wouldn't it be great if we had a feature where as soon as we were ready for the cell to stop recording, Logic would then automatically just stop recording. And so we actually have that available to us. So let's go ahead and investigate and look a little bit deeper into what's called the cell inspector. All right, so cell inspector is right. And by the way, you can edit this as well. I just kind of want to talk about different stuff here. So I'm going to tell Logic, hey, when we record, I want to only record for a certain length. See here where it says recording length. And then at the end of the recording, all I want to do is just go back to playing, getting the cell or the scene to play back. We no longer want to continue recording. So if that's the case, here where it says recording, it's irrelevant because we're going back to play mode. All right. So the cell length as it stands now, predetermined by you, by the way, is 4. That's the default. You can change it. Let me just change it to 2. So then now the recording length is the cell length, which is 2 bars. And at the end of the recording process, I just want this to play back. So I hope that makes sense. Go ahead and play with it, and I'm sure you'll find your groove. So I'm going to cue this specific cell, and I'm going to record into this one. Here we go. Okay. All right. So that was good, except one thing happened. I did not turn on the metronome, and so that kind of messed me up a little bit. All right, let's try this one more time. I think everything is where it needs to be. Cell length, good. Yeah, let's try this. Still didn't come out the way I was planning on it. I'll tell you what. Let me try that one more time, except this time we'll go... Yeah, we'll do automatic. All right, so then you could do it per the cell length like I was working on, and you could also have it be an automatic thing that just kind of does it by itself. Let's try this one. Let's see if this works out in our favor. So I'm going to go with beats. And then again, when we stop recording, we want it to play. And recording, yep. Okay, let's see if this works out. Everything's on. Let's go. All right, we still got that gap though. All right, so then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and edit it outside of that whole bit. So let's move this over. Thanks, cool, appreciate it. Yep, thank you very much. Yeah, just keep rocking, guys. You guys have to just find your rhythm. Obviously, depending on what style of music you're making, you know, it's gonna feel and play a little bit different. But here, let's see this here. All right, and then I'll have it stop right there, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm aligning the cell now. So I'm gonna move this over. Usually, if you just do it per your snap mode, it works out perfectly. You know, obviously, if you play it on time, that's gonna help you guys too. Let's see what this sounds like. All right, it's almost there. Let me go to division now. It's probably just one division away, maybe. Let's see. Ooh, sounds a little bit off. Let's see if we could find the right rotation. Maybe let's see if I can make it shorter. Let's see this one. All right, maybe we'll move it back here. One more. Let's go. Maybe here. Ah. All right, hold on. Let's get a little tighter. Ooh, this is getting a little bit out of control. All right, maybe I'll move this back over. It's got to be a better way to do this. Yeah, just like you get confined to that editor. Let me try. Let's go cell length. Okay, let's try this one more time. So theoretically, it should just record 4 bars regardless of what it is I do, and then cell length, and we'll just hit takes. And if not, I'll just hack it again. But here we go. All right, yeah, I did it, but then it feels like I obviously played a little late there. Here, let's see. Let me see if I could just hack this here. Check this out. It's a nice little hack for you. So I'm going to take the information from here, and I'm going to move it over here. And hopefully that will play out. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, I'll take that. And then on top of that, from here, oh, hold on. From here to there, I'm going to hit, let's see. Let's bring the volume down a little bit. And then I'm going to quantize this so that it's perfectly on time. So let's do 16th notes. Let's see what this sounds like. Let's do 8th notes, see what that sounds like. Ooh, it's kind of messing up the flow a little bit. I'll try quartered, and if not, we'll just go back to the beginning. Honestly, it sounded better just without the quantization, so then we'll just keep that. All right, so then that's that idea. Let's create like a pre-chorus. So all right, so we got the idea. We've heard the progression back and forth. So we need something else to kind of turn it around. So 1, 2, 3. So again, back to this idea that's on an upbeat. So that could be a little bit confusing. So yeah, it's tough to play those upbeats, huh? Let's give it a spin again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So started off not on the right foot, but we can kind of find the beginning. Let's play with beat. Move this around a little bit. So all right, I actually like that a lot. I'll take it. Here, check this out. This is a perfect way to use this. Hold on. All right, so if you join, if you move this over, okay, then we go ahead and just take a part of it so that you can kind of like tease the listener. So like in the case of this track, it would be, one sec, right there. So I'm going to go ahead and actually trim this out of the song or of the cell. So here I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to move the beginning to 3. So here in the cell inspector, I'm going to just shift this over so that when the cell plays, it doesn't play from up here, right? It's playing from, let me move this over. Okay. All right, cool. It's playing from, see if I can get this to, all right, that works. And then now I'm just changing the position of everything. Nice. All right, this should work out. Check it out. Okay. I wonder how this is gonna. Let me hear this back and forth. Hold on. I'm gonna command D so I can get another drummer region over to the next side. Let me hear this. Okay, hold on. All right, so this goes back to just the same idea that this is on an upbeat. And so obviously this is not ideal. It's just the style of the song. So I'm going to move this over. Let's move it over here. Look, you're going to encounter this. So this is why I brought it up, you know, because it's not always going to be 4 on the floor, guys. So here, let's check this out. All right, so let's listen to this. Oh man, hold on. I'm getting a funny bug where there's like a symbol every time. Hold on, let me go into, yeah, let me delete all this just in case. Option L. All right, let's see what this sounds like. Nah, that's not it. It's like a weird thing with the upbeat. Let me command Z this. Let me see. Yeah, it's something. There's something to line up there. Again, the way I know how to fix it and hack it is inside of this editor. Just feels a little bit more familiar to me. It's easier just to look at. So let me go. In fact, let me just drag this over here. All right, cool. And then I'll hit L. All right, let me delete. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. All right, let me see. Yeah, all right, so let's hit the track activator button. So now all of my attention is focused inside of this editor, this tracks area. So I'm going to hit Option N. All right, now we're here. So let's figure out how to line this up properly. Click is on. Oh, gotta turn that on. It should play. What's up? No. Why not? Not getting any playback. Let me see. Move this over. All right, cool. Hold on. Let's delete that. All right, so it's that should work right there. It lines up really nicely. Let's see. All right. I mean, got to give it a go. This is definitely one of the more challenging applications. If you want to get into it and not have to wrestle it, you might want to check out the last Boom Bap video. But here, let's check this. Okay. And then I'm going to drag this one here. Let's see how this translates. Two, three, four, na. Yeah, that's a strange bird right there, man. Trying to get that to line up because it's coming in on an upbeat. All right. I'll tell you what. Maybe I'll do these on the other side. But here, let's see if this is working. All right, so I can see that playing out as well. Here, let's go from the top. Okay, cool. So then now you're just getting some basic ideas to be able to track. And why do it this way? Well, it's another way to think about music. It probably will get you to stretch out in a way that you never have before. And so it's just a creative tool. That's it. Sometimes, look, when you've been doing it one way and you just need, a new approach, a new way to stimulate, new way to grow. Never a bad idea to just try out another philosophy. And who knows? Who knows what kind of results this will yield? This may be exactly what you need to get you back. It may be exactly what you need in order to inspire you and motivate you again. Like when you sit on the DAW, it should be a celebratory thing. You should be celebrating all the years you've put into making music, practicing your scales, investing your time, energy, resources, collaborating with bands, meeting up with musical minds, studying the greats. It should be a celebratory process. You shouldn't feel aggravated or like, man, I got to take care of this, or, how am I going to do this? Or, you shouldn't put any of that negative stuff into the space. It's just like, how can I just write? How can I learn? How can I become better? How can I be more valuable? How can I solve some problems? How can I solve issues? So if this is something that you've been working through and you really want to learn, check out my course, Learning Live Loops with Eddie Gray. It will literally break down everything I've been doing. Again, I've been selecting, a style of music that, traditionally has been written in the right side of the screen. And I'm just kind of picking it apart and saying, hey, what else is possible? What are some things that I could do? Well, for example, if we just talk about, the intro, for example, like maybe I'll reduce the volume of these guitars real quick. You can do stuff that wasn't even possible before, like, if I go into this editor and here, let me go into beat. Let me change. In fact, you know what? I don't want to mess this up, so let me duplicate this. All right, so then like here, I'm going to change the pattern from an already existing pattern, but still it might bring up some cool stuff that you weren't even thinking about. So let me delete this just so we can hear one guitar. Here, check it out. See, so that would have been something you probably just wouldn't have played. I know this kind of stuff works out really nice too. Check out. All right, cool. So then this is what I'm talking about. Now we've got something different that we didn't have before. So here's the intro. See, now this has just become another creative tool. I would have not written that part, but if it wasn't for this kind of thinking, it just gets you to think about it in a new way. And so if you have any questions for me, go ahead and hit me up. I'm glad to answer. How does something work? Or, what do you do for this? But yeah, now we have another idea here. Listen to this. In fact, now we can even just create a whole progression from here. Let me show you what I mean. Option L. Let's move this entire scene over. And obviously, you got to keep tabs on what's going on. Never a bad idea to, use the naming configuration. So we'll call this intro. I'll hit tab. Here I'll call this section A, right? Here, I forgot what this was. All right, cool. So I'll just call this scratch, right? So maybe this can kind of be, I don't know, after the A sections, we can use that as a way to turn around. Here are just some drums. I don't think I've done anything with this section. Let's hear this. So theoretically, once I fix this, this is going to be section B. I understand that, this is the chorus. It's not lined up yet. I'll get that. And then here we have this kind of other trippy part. All right, let's see if we could do something with this. So I'm going to click on this one, use the arrow key and shift to click on both of these, hit Command R, and let's try and change the tone. So maybe we'll transpose it up. Let's go, I don't know, up 2 or 3. Let's see what that sounds like. All right, cool. So you understand what I'm trying to do here. Just playing with different ideas and see, what mixes, what matches. I'll get this chorus right at some point. I don't think it's important right now. I'm going to move it away from the bunch. The last thing I'll do is just add a third guitar, and then we'll call it a day. What's up, Jay? How's it going? Welcome to the channel. Cool. Appreciate you guys. All right. So let's add a second guitar. Let's do that guitar. I'll change the preset. All right, and see if we got one on the right. So we're just gonna do one down the middle, and this one will just be mono. So I'm gonna create a track. All right, we're gonna input and put it right down the middle, and we'll call this Gibson, but just a higher register. All right, this time I'm gonna do it as a hybrid workflow, so I don't do this whole back and forth thing. This actually may be a little bit more practical. Here, check out what I mean. All right. All right, so then think about it. Right now, our attention focuses inside of the live loops grid, but on track number 4, I'm going to click on the track activator button specific to the lane, specific to track number 4. I'm going to hit Control R. This track is now record enabled. The behavior inside of this one track is simply to record. Now, the cycle region is on. So if I go to record in Logic at the very top here and I go to overlapping audio recordings, you can see that by default I've got create take folder. So even if I mess up, I'm going to create a composite of the best takes, whatever sounds tight or whatever sounds like it has more energy, more feel. So then now I'm going to go ahead and hit R and get this. All right, so then I'm just going to record this over and over again for a couple of bars. Why don't I, instead of 8, I'm just going to go, well, no, actually, no, let's do the 8. All right, let's check it out. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to do that necessarily by myself. So this is an interesting prospect here. Check it out. So I'm going to click here, control click. I'm going to cue the entire scene. As soon as I hit record, now I can play back. The live loops is playing scene with 3, which is called section A. And in the tracks area, I'm recording track number 4. All of this because of the behavior, all of it because we understand the properties and the makeup of this program, all of it because we have a dedicated workflow to follow. If you know how to, mount the horse and manipulate its behavior and understand how to use it, then you can get ahead. All right. So let me go ahead and hit record, and I'll record a couple takes. Here we go. Yeah. All right, let's check it out. Which one sounds the best and lines up with this? Let's see. So that sounds a little bit weird. Let me start from the beginning, track 1. So now I'm selecting and figuring out which one sounds the best. I may be doing some serious quantizing or using a tool like Vocal Align or something like that as well, or the groove track function, which we covered a little bit earlier. All right, so this one sounds off. Why does it sound so off? All right, yeah, it definitely sounds pretty off. Let me check take number 2. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and figure out exactly what's going on here. So maybe track number 3. Hold on. Nope. All right, well, definitely something to look into. Let me see if I just move it over again a beat or something, if it's early or late. Let me check this out. Okay, so there it was. Definitely. It almost sounds like it just needs to be back some, right? Here, let me go ahead and edit. So I'm breaking this up, move it over, maybe. Okay, let's keep doing that. Maybe we're a little bit closer. I got to keep checking now that I'm going down this rabbit hole here. Let's check this out. Boom, boom, move this over. Yep. All right, so man, that is tough because think of it. I chopped off kind of the other part of the song, and so now I got rid of it, so to speak. So this is gonna require a hack, but you know, hacks are nothing new to me. I've been down this road before. Let me hit Control B, and let's rock with this a little bit. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, I think the name of the game is these days is just hacking. If you can hack, if you can, you know, even if you don't play guitar that well, but you can kind of get your hands on it, or bass. A friend of mine plays bass, and what he does is he creates like 4 different tracks, and you know, he just like records one note or a series of notes on one track, and then on track number 2 he'll play the rest of it out. So yeah, it's quite the accomplishment when he's done, but you know, it works. All right, so we're creating a hack for this track. I'm gonna hit Option N. Let's get in here a little bit. So we're looking to duplicate this. Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. So let's see how we can do that. All right, so that's the part there. So I think it starts here. So if I can get this to perfectly play 2 times over, then that would be ideal. Let's see if this is the right selection. Bear in mind, I'm selecting my marquee tool in order to achieve this functionality. So it actually could be... That's pretty cool. The stop all cells button is here on the bottom left. Here, I'll zoom in for you guys. So even though the cells were playing in the other screen, you can stop that playback. Here, let's see what this looks like. This actually may work, so I'm going to hit Command D, and let's see if this hack is in fact legit. Yeah, I'll take it. It certainly works. So look, you're gonna have to have that skill set. If you think you're gonna play everything right, or technology is always gonna go right, and it's always gonna kind of, you know, lean in your favor, I'm telling you that's not the case. You're gonna have to be practical, and you're gonna have to be clever. All right. So do your best to create a clean edit. This guitar just as a whole is kind of loud, so I'm going to bring it down inside of the region inspector. All right, let's see how this works. All right, so again, kind of messier, but still works. Command J. Get that to be one region. And then just like before, I'm going to get this to follow up here. So groove track right there. Make that follow track number 1. Let's see what it sounds like now. I got to play them together because honestly, I think it's kind of messing up the playback a little bit. So Control mute. Let's check this out. All right, sounds good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce this to audio. And then again, Option B, hybrid workflow. And this is now a guitar that that we're kind of putting in the center, right? So I'm going to hit the track activation button so that we're no longer playing from inside of the tracks area. Option B or Option L gets me inside of this screen. And so then now I've got one effectively in the center. Let me delete this one. All right, cool. And then got the intro, one guitar in the center. Got this scratching idea, which again we're still kind of developing, but here we go. All right, you guys get the point. So go ahead and start to get comfortable with this. Again, if we would have chosen something that was like more in the vein of hip hop, you know, stuff like this, it wouldn't be as challenging because by the very nature of the music, it falls on the one, it falls on the beat, on the grid, and so with this style of music, kind of like, you know, alternative rock, Foo Fighters, hard rock, it's a little bit more rhythmically complex, and so it's, you know, the results will differ. But hopefully you've enjoyed this session. I want you guys to get, you know, on point and get your reps in. If you really want to learn this, do me a big favor. Go ahead and check out Learning Live Loops with Eddie Gray. It is free. The first chapter is free on the Graphy app right now, so go ahead and check that out. It will be distributed worldwide, and so I want you guys to be the first to get your hands on it and to just pick it apart. And I guarantee you that you'll find incredible value at no cost to you. Go ahead and check out the course. And thank you guys again for our time together. Super grateful that that we get to do this, that we get to, you know, do what we love. It's incredible that we could just sit, listen to music, play music, talk about music, and just live the life that is music. So thank you guys very much. Again, if you like the content, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you guys again. So much more content coming soon. Thank you guys for the love. I appreciate all the comments today. And I'll catch you guys on Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. so we can finish this track up, and then just keep on talking about live loops. So, all right, guys, thank you. My name's Eddie Gray. Check us out, hfmusicacademy.com. We'll see you again soon. Cheers.